Hello, everyone. My name is Misti Gaither, and welcome to Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. But I'm so excited to have with me internationally known psychic medium Sid Patrick with me. How you doing, Sid?
I am doing just wonderful.
You go in here, you go in there. I mean, I had to take out a new itinerary thing just to keep up with you, just to be able to talk to you. Sid, tell us a little bit about, I noticed that, I have a lot of psychic mediums on the show, and is it like getting to be a trend? Is everybody a psychic medium now, or is it just like where people are more comfortable in their gifts and maybe wanting to help others more, or is it just like the thing to be now?
Everyone is born with it. And so once you learn to tap into it and you learn the concepts of energy and you learn how it works and you start waking up to it and learning that you're not crazy, it just becomes natural. It's your natural abilities. And when you learn to start dealing with that and working with it, life becomes limitless. And so you just start really learning to cope with things better. Your anxiety starts going down. You start waking up to things. You start understanding why you feel certain ways or why you may wake up feeling a little different that day. Things start making sense to you. And so you get these aha moments like regularly. And so that's the beauty of it. It's a remarkable journey. And like I was telling you earlier, when we talk about paranormal, for me, there is no paranormal. It's normal. This is normal life. Once you understand natural law of energy and you start understanding the concepts of energy, this is here, it has been here forever. And once you understand how it interacts with your daily life, it's always been here. And so it's natural.
So, what happened when you first? Like you said, everyone has the gift. Some of us have it more
Right.
so than others, and some people they don't even want to cultivate, don't
Right.
want to talk about it, don't want to think about. Oh, I may can speak with the dead, and some people it does kind of freak out, and I understand that.
Mhm.
But when was the very first time that you remember when you said, "I have something here"?
Well, for me, it was kind of a family culture. So members of my family were able to do readings. So it started with that. And honestly, I never even knew what a medium was growing up. I knew that people in my family read cards. So that's what I did. I read cards. And I was very good at it. Didn't know why or how. I really did not get into mediumship or even know what mediumship was until the death of my mother, which is what I find makes most people look into mediumship, but it's usually a death or a tragedy.
Hmm.
And so it was the death of my mother, and that really pushed me to go, is there really life after death? And in numerology, because I'm also a numerologist, so in numerology, I'm a four. So I'm about facts and I'm about science, and I have to have proof. So I went on a mission into mediumship and started in 1988, and I didn't even go public until 2010. So I literally studied that long before I even went out and told anybody that I even did this. Like I didn't even like go public to even read anybody until 2010. So I went on a long journey of
Yeah.
sitting in circles, studying with different people and traveling the world because I wanted to know if I was ever going to see my mother again. I wanted proof. It wasn't just like I was going to have a medium give me some evidence and say, "Oh yeah, that was right." I wanted proof. And so I went on this phenomenal journey to Casadega, to Chesterfield, to Central America, to England to study, and Arthur Finley, to circles with one of the parapsychology teachers at UNO, sat in circle with him many, many times, study with a lot of locals and other people, and I just kept building and building and building and studying. And now I said, like now, it's all just normal to me. And I always look at the factual and the science side of it. And when I teach mediumship, that's what I start with in fundamentals. I teach the science side of it. Like what's going on in the brain, what part of your brain is working, why is it happening, why you experience this, why is it easier for some people and not others, or you're more right brain or you're more left brain, or you're more equally left and right brain. Why is it more easy for people who are more equal than somebody who's more left or more right? So these are all, like I said, this all matters when you're getting into this type of work.
Let me do a quote that you said
Mm-hmm.
about, and you were talking about the side of the brain. Mm-hmm. And it says, if we embrace the realms of our right brain, we can love one another and coexist peacefully. This understanding has been a guiding principle in my life since I opened up to spirituality.
Absolutely. Because in our right brains, we're all connected. And I actually do a little exercise in my class where I prove that. And so we're all, through our right brain, we're all connected. We're energetically connected. And through our right brains, we're all one. We're all one family. And what makes us separate is our left brain. There's a wonderful TED Talk by Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor where she talks about her stroke and she compares the left and right brain. And that is her purpose of this talk. She experiences a stroke. She's a neuroscientist, and she experiences her stroke from the inside out. And I show this to all my students because it helps them understand the importance of understanding how their brain works. In that video, that's one of her purposes, is to show you that if we all work more from our right brain, that we're not biased. We're all one. And we're all human, and we're all together, and we're all here for peace.
Now, you were saying how that your mom's death kind of propelled you into researching and developing your gifts and stuff. Do you still communicate? Your mom, do y'all still communicate all the time?
Daily. My shower is so crowded. I tell this to my students. I communicate daily with all my dead people in the shower. My shower is so crowded because I got so many dead people. Because the shower, your car, if you want to get in the closet, you can get in the closet. These are the best places to communicate. But that's why people get their best ideas in the shower. That's why people have their best thoughts in the shower, because those are moments usually when, most people are alone. That's when, you're in that, it's a closed area, which in physical mediumship we call a cabinet. Mm-hmm. So it creates that energetic space. Another good place is the car, but we ask you to focus on your driving. So it's kind of hard in a car, but people do that's how you kind of know what song's coming on next, or you'd be able to know the words of songs the minute you're out of the car. The shower is a really good place. That's where I say my prayers with my loved ones. That's where I have intimate conversations with them, and they do respond. I see miracles every day, and I tell people, and I'll tell you a quick little fun story. So I'm at a reading, and it's me, and I'm going to just use the term my work wife. We're doing a group. And we're sitting there with this family, and we're giving them messages. We're making connections for them. And a cell phone comes off the sofa. It goes to the middle of the floor. I pick it up. I put it back. We continue on with the session. Cell phone falls in the middle of the floor. I pick it up. I put it back. And this happens 4 or 5 times. We finish the session. And the family, is asking us some questions. And one of them says, how come we never experience anything? And I looked at her and I said, so, cell phones normally fly in your home? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you did not see that cell phone go from the sofa to over here? Yeah. I said, well, does that normally happen? How did it get here?
Twice.
Right. No. 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
4
wow,
or 5 times.
More than twice.
Yeah, it was more than twice. And
oh, my Lord.
And they didn't see it. And they're so conditioned to not notice those things. So people actually have miracles happen around them every day. They just don't see it. I am now conditioned to see them. That's why I said there's no paranormal form because I see things. I see glasses slide in my house. I see cabinet doors open and close. I got furniture that moves. I have things that fall, walls that thump. Lights that flick. I have this all day long around me, but I'm used to it because I am aware. I'm woke to it.
Right. So. Now, who do you think that it could be? Is it you think it could be some of your family, or you just think it may be just random people coming to get your attention?
Well, it depends on what class of energy it is, because there's different types of energy. So, because people say, oh, is it a ghost? Well, no, sometimes it's a ghost. But most of the paranormal investigations that I do are usually not a ghost. No, most of the time it's because It's usually, I don't want to use any bad words, so I got to be careful.
Use them.
We can. Usually it's because there's some bullshit going on in the family.
There we go.
99% of the time, it's because the family has created an energy that's creating stuff going on in the home. Most of the time, that's what it is. It's not a ghost. It's not, and sometimes it's a savior. I could tell you, I got a million stories in my belt. I could probably write several volumes of books of all the things that we've witnessed and seen. So in my house, I have multiple things. So sometimes it's me that caused it because I might be angry or mad at something, or I might be in a bad mood, and one of my spirit friends might come in and do something to make me laugh. Example, I'm mad because I'm running late and I had to do laundry. So I'm doing laundry. And I have the two little balls in the dryer, right? One falls out. I grab it with my foot. And I go to the door because it was rolling to the door. And on my fireplace mantle is a picture of my business partner. She passed. And she used to always call me dumbass, right? And so I'm looking up at the mantle and I see a smiling face. And I'm looking and I said, "Oh, you." And I lifted my foot and the ball rolled under this table. And I looked at it. I said, "You just want to see me get down on my hands and knees and watch my big butt crawl under this table and grab this ball." So I started laughing and I go down there and there's no ball. So I said, "Well, it must have rolled under the sofa." So I'm going to wait till hubby gets home and let Superman lift up the sofa and get it. So I go back to do my laundry and my cell phone was up there, and across my phone is the word dumbass. That's what she used to always call me.
What?
Well, you can't make that up, right?
No, right.
So I'm laughing at her. I go to reach in the dryer. The ball's back in the dryer.
What?
So you can't make that up.
Right, right.
You know? So she made me laugh. She knew I was having a bad day. She made me laugh. I knew was a spiritual connection. She was making me laugh. But there are things that, like, I went and I did another home. I don't want to give too much details for the people's privacy, but there was a disagreement between a husband and a wife. The husband wanted a child. The wife did not. She was a working woman. She did not, but they were living in a home where an older woman died, and she was an old NICU nurse.
Oh.
And so things were happening because of the discord between the family about the child. And so things were just, falling, things were happening, things were moving. Well, that was what it was about.
So let's talk about, speaking of nurses, and that's your full-time
Yes.
day job, I guess, or
Yes.
whatever profession is.
Yes.
You are a nurse.
Yes.
So are there times that your gifts and your nursing, I know that they probably go hand in hand sometimes, but I'm
everybody
sure
knows what I do.
like collides a little bit or something.
They do. Everybody everybody at the work knows what I do, and they'll call me and ask me, like, if someone's getting near, they'll call and ask me how long, because I can usually tell you. There's been times I'll push the crash cart to the room before they crash because I can see the energy in the room and I can tell when they're about to leave. So they'll ask me, do I need to get ready? Do I need to? And I'll tell them about how long they have. So I'll say, well, you got a little bit of time. You may want to really watch this one. Like, I can see the energy above the body, so they're really trying to exit. So, and this is not a DNR, so we're going to have to code it. So we have to get ready. So yeah, they will call me. They know.
So when we see that crash cart going,
Yeah.
we know.
And how I got outed. I'll tell you, it's a funny story how I got outed.
Right.
So I was working at a hospital in Kenner, which is only once, you know which one that is. This is many, many years ago. And I was walking into work, and I immediately saw the energy come from under a door. And I just ran to the nurse's station, not because nobody knew what I did at that point. And I hit the code button, and then I grabbed the code card and went to the door, and they were like, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "I saw the spirit from under the door."
Right.
All right, so busted.
Yeah.
So after that point, everybody knew. So you can't hide it.
I think it really enhances the profession of being a nurse, and then the nurse part complements
Right.
being a psychic medium. So I had someone else that was into nursing that's also a psychic medium, and I just think it's really, really cool. Like I said, the marriage of the two together, because you have to be, as a successful psychic medium, you have to be sensitive to other people's needs and things. And then,
Absolutely.
of course, I mean, some of the same criteria of being a psychic medium is, as you know.
Right. We
being
can
a
usually
nurse. Yeah.
tell. I mean, I can tell when they come in, usually if they're coming in a coding situation, I can usually tell by things that I see if they're going to be able to make it or not, because I can see where the energy level is or where the spirit is. Whether, whether they've been yanked out or if they're still in, I can kind of usually tell, because usually your loved ones come to get you. Usually before any trauma hits, they'll yank you, so that your energy is like not in, it's above you, not in you, so you can kind of see the end. I can see with the naked eye. I can sometimes see the energy, and that'll tell me kind of where I'm at, what I'm working with. So that'll usually tell me if they're going to make it or not.
Well, let me. You was talking about that, and let's talk about auras a little bit. I'm not real well versed, so I'm not going to pretend I know what
Right.
all the colors mean, and this and that. But I noticed that you do a lot of work
Yes.
with that.
So yes, we have our photography at my store. And when we close it, that is one piece that's coming with me.
Okay.
It's not staying at the store.
So you have a camera that's
We have the aura camera, but it only reads the outer aura. It doesn't get to the soul aura, which is completely different because your body has multiple layers.
okay.
Okay, so it reads only the exterior, and it really tells you a lot. I mean, because the outer aura tell you like what your mood is. It kind of tells us little things about you. Actually, I read 3 photos before I came here today, but people came into the store for some. But it tells you things like can tell you your past, your present. It can show you some loved ones who've passed in your picture. Sometimes they'll pop in, depending upon when we catch that photo, because it is a photo. So it catch it because the energy constantly is moving. So when we snap that photo, it takes a still shot. So I can only read what the still shot catches. But sometimes you'll catch a loved one in it. You do have a health line in there, so a lot of times I can look at things, and it doesn't mean that you're sick, but I can look at maybe some things for you to pay attention to, depending upon on what colors are on your health line, which usually runs across here. So I can usually tell that, but it just gives you different things. I'll never forget when we first opened our store, we were all exhausted when we first got the camera. I did my aura, and it was like I didn't have one. And they were all like, "Oh, good Lord, am I gonna? Is this place gonna kill me?" Like there was, I had zero, or everybody else had colors, not me. Mine was because I was exhausted from rebuilding, because we were, we were building the store up. So I had literally had zero aura.
So why was that, you think?
It was exhaustion.
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion. It was. Everybody else had colors, I didn't. It was just being totally exhausted because we had been we've been putting up walls and carpet and hauling in boxes, and it was total exhaustion.
You're right, and I'm sure that you don't have a lot of auras, lights and stuff showing up a lot because, I mean, you are always on the go. Like I said, you have your nursing job, and then you travel a lot for, conferences. And I noticed that you studied with John Edwards.
He came to Baton Rouge, yes, and he
Okay.
held a class, yes.
So how was that? I remember when I was younger watching him on when he had Crossing Over with John
I
Edwards.
like John, but my story with him is funny. My favorite people who read me are students. I love students to read me because they're raw, okay?
Right.
They don't know. So when the student reads me, those are the best. But every professional reader that reads me usually get me wrong. Or they so I'll tell you the story. So they're all good. So I find John Edwards is actually he's one of the best psychics I've ever met.
Wow.
So I'm sitting in an audience of because it was a small group, because we paid a decent price to be there because it's a small group. And it was like an educational group. So we were studying, and he was teaching like numerology and a little bit of astrology, and he was teaching stuff and some psychic stuff. And then he did a few readings. So he goes, "Who in this area right here has the old Disney princesses painted on their bedroom wall?" Well, up goes my hand.
There you go.
And he looks at me and goes, "You?" And I went, "Let me explain." So I look at him and I said, "Gotta explain." I said, "My husband is an artist, and in the bedroom of my parents' home, he painted Snow White, Cinderella, all the old Disney princesses for my nieces who when they come visit, stay in my old bedroom."
Oh, okay, that's sweet.
So I said, so my husband's an artist. I said, and he did a phenomenal job painting. He had just recently did that, so I knew that's what he was referring. I mean, that's good psychic work.
Yeah.
Okay, to come up with that, and so He goes, so, and then he goes, you have this grandfather. And he goes, no. He goes, oh, your father's passed and with a heart attack. I said, no, my father's still living with his father. So I get the father connection. And he made the classic mistake. Oh, he loved you. No, he did not. They all do it. No, this man did not. I said, he did not. We hated each other. I said, from this big to, I said, it's no bad feelings. He didn't like anybody. Actually, if he'd have liked me, I'd have been the oddball out. But I was the one he hated the most because I was the one that stood up to him. I said he probably respected me because I was the one that stood up to him. I said, but this man never did love me. And even better, so Susan Northrop, another wonderful medium, how good she is. I'm in Lafayette. I was in Lafayette, sitting with her. And I'm in another audience. She goes, another phenomenal psychic. Who right here had a filming of Roy Rogers at their home? Up goes my, what are the odds, right? Up goes my hand. Like, who would say that, right? Up goes my hand. She goes, you? I said, yes, me. Oh, I think your father's passed with a heart attack. No, that would be his father. Like, almost like they listened to one another. And I'm like, no, that would be his dad. Oh, he loved you. No, he did not. And immediately then had to go to sleep because they got blocked by that concept. They didn't understand why this man didn't love me. This man used to tell me to go play on the median on Airline Highway. There's no median because he wanted me to get hit by a car. That's the love we had for one another.
Right.
Okay. Again, I loved the man. I understood him. I understood his anger. I understand. We're not mad. I'm not mad at him now. I have no bad feelings for it. But this man was so mean that I have family members that committed suicide behind him. Okay? Wow. I mean, that's how mean this man was. He was mean. He was a mean man. And, I get it. But, no, there was no love there. I understood him because he was angry. I understood that. But that they could never get.
I remember watching an episode of Crossing Over with John Edwards, and he was like, okay, who in this section here has a relative named Aloysius? And I was like, ain't nobody named Aloysius. Like, nobody's going to get that. And the lady, yes, my grandfather was. I was like,
look, it's
Aloysius, and that's amazing. How would you know that,
I had one that freaked me out. I was literally I watched these two guys. They looked like identical twins. So I knew they were related. And they literally took their heads off and stuck them under their arms and were laughing at one another. So I'm in this gallery, and I'm like, do I really say this? And my work wife looked at me, and she goes, say it. I see it in your face. You need to say it. I said, all right. I said, I got two guys, they look like brothers, or they're related for sure because they look alike, but they both lost their head, and they're sitting here laughing. They got their heads cut off. And sure enough, girl raises her hand up and says, yeah, my uncles, they were machinists, and they work on a machine, piece come off and cut both their heads off. I said, well, girl, they're over there laughing and cutting up because they're laughing at one another. I mean, you can't make that up.
No.
But they could, I'm very clairvoyant, and the light bends in my forehead and creates pictures for me. And the kind of pictures I get are wild. And I'm sitting there, like, when people watch me read, they see the expressions on my face. I know it freaks them out because I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Some of the things I see, because I see in black and white, I do not see in color. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Now, you were talking about, how that they say, how that you were like, oh, I'm just going to say it. And Trini was saying, let's just say it. Like getting to that point for you just to say what is coming to you, even though you're not sure of how it'll be received or if it's accurate. And you just, like with the guys, 2 decapitations, right. And you just rolled in and just said, hey, the 2 guys with the head cut off, I don't know, but you said it even though you wasn't for sure. And that's, I think, what kind of separates the wheat from the chaff is the confidence in saying whatever you get, even though it may not seem real to you or to some, but you say it because that somebody, it's for someone.
Well, sometimes it's hard for the ethical side of it. Like, okay, so working with her one night, she was reading this woman. Woman's like 83 years old. She's reading her husband. The woman's in massive tears. And I guess since I can curse, I got, well, anyway, so So I have a symbol in my head for the word narcissist, and I'll be polite about it. It's a guy's appendage, and it's the way it is. It means that the guy's a narcissist. So I'm reading this 83. She's reading this 83-year-old woman. This woman's sobbing in tears for the love she has for this man. And when I connect to her, I see this thing. So I'm like, I got to go tell this woman that her husband's a narcissist. So I'm kind of like, so, and she sees my face, and so she's like, you need to say it. I said, I know. I just, so I'm fighting my own ethics here. Like I have this ethical thing. I got to tell this woman her husband's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting having a meltdown. I got to tell her. It said, it hurt me ethically, right? So Shani goes, just say it. I said, okay. I said, so ma'am, would you understand, your husband narcissist? And she goes, that's his name. And I went, oh, thank God.
Are you shitting me?
I am not shitting you. I was like,
his name was Narcissist?
Yes. Yes.
And see, if you hadn't have said that,
Right. I know. And I'm just like,
what?
So I'm in this dilemma, and so you go in this ethical dilemma, and that's when I just learned, what's it? Just say it. You just have to. You just have to sometimes just say it. And I have come up with some stuff that I will not say on the air, but believe me, there have been things that have come out. I mean, in church one time, I had two women, and this is divine intervention. I had two women who both lost sons. They sat right next to each other, and both their sons were struck by lightning.
What?
And they sat right next to one. I mean, what is the chances of that? I had a piggyback. Two women sitting right next to me. Both of them were struck by lightning. I'm sitting right next to me. You can't make that up.
Right.
And I've had, and then, what her and I had, we were at the Bayou Playhouse and this is a good story. We were in Bayou Playhouse in not Thibodeau, down in the Bayou country, down around Thibodeau. And we had 120 people in the audience. We were reading this family over here. It was 120 people reading on stage. We were on stage. We were reading this family over here. And this family over here wanted it, but it was for this family over here. And we were reading this English gentleman that they lost, and we were talking to them, and this family kept saying, no, it was for them, and no, it was for them. While we're talking, the spirit spoke out loud and said, my God. The whole audience heard the spirit speak. What? Witnessed by 120 people. I mean, we get that a lot. Like we've had lots of phenomena at our galleries. And then you could see the energy fly through the audience, knocked over some stuff, and hit the door. I mean, it was crazy. The whole audience witnessed it, all 120. That little town will never be the same.
Oh, well, I'll bet, because
the spirit spoke out loud.
Audible, yes.
Audible sound. I'm looking at Trini, I said, you heard that, right? She's like, I heard it. I'm like, okay. Wow.
So did y'all figure out who it belonged to?
It was for that woman, and the spirit got mad because this lady over here wanted it, and
just trying to hone in on
his reading. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh hell no!"
Right.
He got angry, and he was angry enough that he was able to materialize his voice. Wow,
that's amazing.
Oh yeah, we were in a church. We were at Unity here in Metairie, and we brought through this man who got stabbed in his heart, and the whole time I'm reading, you could start hearing the heartbeat over the microphones. When the minute we finished reading it, let's stop. It was
like you said, you can't make it up.
You can't make it up.
Now, you were talking about writing stuff down, like in volumes and all that. You have wrote a book.
Yes, I have.
Seance Experiments. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So how is that? Where could someone get a copy of that?
Amazon.
It's
all on Amazon. Cleela Smith is the co-author. I'm the co-author. She actually authored. I co-authored. Cleela is someone that I met. She had lost her daughter and was given a card to come to me for a reading, and I helped her reconnect back to her daughter. And it was a journey that her and I took. Where I took her from just a mental mediumship into physical mediumship, which is what Seance Experiments is about her journey into understanding the crossover from mental mediumship into physical mediumship. And she was able to experience her daughter's voice. She was able to experience her daughter's touch. She was able to experience lots of physical phenomena related to the loss of her child.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. But you offer a PI course.
Yes, that's brand new. Mm-hmm. I'm actually doing that course with a phenomenal medium. Jennifer Brazier, and we just finished the online portion this weekend. So I can't say a whole lot because I can't let any of the students hear some of the fun stuff we're doing because
Gotcha.
it's just got to be secret for them.
I won't tell nobody.
But so it's teaching, which the goal of this class is to try to get a group of people into psychic investigation where they can assist with not just all stuff like finding missing people and helping in cases and stuff, but also going and feeling history and understanding and sensing and using their senses and sensing the land or sensing an old building and going in and being able to feel history and create and understand the story of something that took place in an area. So I could tell you a few things. So we've got a few things that we have them working on. Some of the things we've done in class already. We had the truck, we did this case of the truck stop killer, and we showed them different photos and we had them sense that, and then we had them do something called mapping where they either meditate or they use a pendulum and they try to map where some of the locations were that he picked up his victims and stuff. And so that's called mapping. And so we're training students not only just how to sense, but how to use different tools to figure out different cases and how to work on different locations and just to put the story together using their senses. And so we're hoping to take this through multiple levels. This is the first group that I'm working with Jennifer on, and we're hoping that it grows into multiple levels where we get a network of people that if we get handed a case, that we can all independently look at it, put the information together, and just give the information to whatever source is needing information. We're not guaranteeing the information, but here's the information. Do with what you may. So that's
I
kind of what we're
love
doing.
talking about, because I always think it is a wonderful thing when psychic mediums are used to help solve crimes. Actually, I had the honor of having, I think, one of the premier psychic investigators, Nancy Weber.
Right.
I got to interview her, and so amazing, and I just, I think that, like you said, we coexist and just love, and it's a needed thing that some things that psychic mediums can help with, that may be law enforcement, and so I'm always I really push that a lot on my shows and my platform about how, we're blessed to have this gift, but we're supposed to give back. And what greater way, I think, of giving back than to give someone peace and answers.
I'll let one of the cats out the bag on the show.
Here we go,
So,
y'all. Exclusive.
yeah, exclusive. So if you ever come take one of my classes, you're going to get this. So one of my friends dated a serial killer, and so I actually have a photo that the serial killer made and done, and I give it to students and tell them, here, feel this and tell me what you think. And I use it as a psychometry exercise to see what they say about it.
Oh,
And I actually got the picture. It's the serial killer in the picture, and he actually made the frame and everything. And I have them feel it and sense it and that. But it's the word's out now, so because I've taught this class so much that most people already know coming in. But yeah, so that was one of the things I do. I actually have a photo of a serial killer. It was made by him, and the frame that it's in was handmade by the serial killer himself.
damn! I wish you would have brought that, because I would have loved to see if I could have guessed who it is. That'd have been great.
He's the Bayou Strangler.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you who it is.
Dominique.
Yep.
I know my serial killers.
You
Thank
do.
you.
Yes, he dated a friend of mine.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
he hated me. He hated me. Ooh, he hated me.
Well, good thing you didn't
Oh, he hated
go
me.
to the store with him or anything.
Well, I brought him home the night that they broke up, and we were crossing
Oh.
over this little piece. And I looked at my business partner because she was with me, and when we went over the thing, I went, oh, I just got a chill up my spine. That's where they found one of the bodies, and I was like, oh. So, yeah. And then I've read for some of the people who know him, and we pieced together a lot of the story. So.
Now, how many did he killed? Was about in the teens?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, maybe 16, something like that. It was several.
It was several,
Yeah.
and he got he talked about, if you watch the ID show on him, it started with, he did his first one, and then it gave him this power, and then he would bring him back to the trailer, which I used to bring him home to that trailer because we used to go to dinner with him and my friend and then some other friends like once a week, like for weeks. And let me tell you how cruel we are. So after they broke up, right? It was my friend's birthday. So when we went to dinner again, like a little group, it was my friend's birthday. We, when he opened his gifts, we had all pieces of dolls in it and stuff. We're so bad. I know. We're so bad. I know we're bad. But hang
Bad but funny.
Right? I know. We're so bad. But anyway,
What did he do?
he threw them at us.
Oh.
But you know,
Be hard to kind of
I
top
know,
that gift.
I know,
That's,
I know. We were also we were bad, but you know, we thought it was fun.
So that is interesting because, you know, I have read and watched several things on him and the Gillis and the Derek Todd Lee. And I mean, Louisiana has their share of
Yes, I got to meet him
unsolved.
personally and got to know him personally. I used to bring him. I was the one that drove him home all the time, so I knew right where he lived, everything.
Wow. And so you never, though, felt,
Oh yeah,
You did-
he didn't like me, and I did not like him.
but I mean, you didn't like pick up like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, it's a serial killer.
not
or
not
nothing?
no, but I got to. But
got-
well, he wasn't at first.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like this started right as he. This started probably towards the end of his relationship with my friend, and so there was a point. I think he probably had maybe done one, maybe two before they broke up, because I don't think he was doing it the whole time because they had dated for a while, and I think that started towards the end.
You think that kind of maybe triggered him or something, or who knows?
When they were breaking up, he started going out. When they wasn't seeing each other, and that's when it happened. When he went out.
Right. So what's going on? Like, you have anything, I'm sure you do, but anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Well, coming up, what do we have? So coming up, I'm going to a conference in England, which is with the group that I just had here with Touch and Eternity. They're doing another thing called Together with Spirit in England, in Brighton. I'm going to be there right after the 4th. But coming up here locally, I'm going to be doing a psychic art class with one of the ladies from Together with Spirit, Josephine McKenzie, which will be psychic art. It'll be on the weekend, like on Saturday. I'm not sure of the times yet because I got to see when that'll come in. So that'll be a psychic art class, and she's phenomenal. I do stick people, but she had me literally draw them with both hands and everything, so she's really good. So it'll be a psychic art class coming up in. When I was doing Touch and Eternity, I did a lot with the mediums and the psychics, teaching them I did a lot of emotional intelligence work with them so that they can learn how to separate their emotions from their cases and stuff. So we're trying to reintroduce an old, it's not old, it's been around a long time, a thing called voice dialogue. And one of the teachers is local. And so we're going to put that online. And there's a whole bunch of people interested in taking that. There's a class called Voice Dialogue. That's going to become all online. That's coming up before the end of the summer as well. I'm also going to be doing another level 1 mediumship probably in August. That's coming up as well. So I have those 3, and I do a monthly circle every month. I'm thinking the next one is June 10th, and I do one every month. It's all online as well. So that's what I got coming up. And travel-wise, got England then, and then I know we're traveling to Denver. Attorney's coming in to work with me at the end of the month, and then we're going back to Denver and to Nebraska. They literally put me in a tube to get me from Denver to Nebraska. It literally was a fire extinguisher in the air, but anyway, no bathroom. 10 seats. You had to scratch
Now,
down
was
to
that
get
plane,
in.
that real crazy looking plane that's on your Facebook page?
Yes. I had to ride.
How in the hell did...
I know.
I saw that plane. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you had to crawl to get in.
no.
But anyway, we're going back there. We're going to go back to Nebraska, and then we're going to do like a Colorado run, I think she said. So we're going to be doing that.
Nice.
And I know we're going up to Michigan before winter, and then somewhere else. But if you follow me on, I want to sell the business first. That's the first thing. That's going to be in September. And then when that's done, then I'm going to still have my jewelry and stuff online under NOLA Gems and Jewelry. And it still will be Your Spiritual Gifts, but it's going to switch over to NOLA Gems and Jewelry. And then I'm going to have Sid Patrick events. I'm going to split the two completely. So that's what's going to happen later on in the year.
And you're still working as a nurse.
I'm going to still work as a nurse, but I'm going to do a lot more teaching. Once the store is going, you can see me doing a lot more classes, a lot more. I'm going to see a lot more clients because right now, like I said, I haven't had a day off like in probably 2 to 3 months. Just every day seeing clients, working somewhere, doing something.
I can tell like your passion is through the teaching.
It
Like you
is.
really enjoy that a lot.
I do. I had a lot of big conferences. We host New Orleans Psychic Fair. Next year probably will be in June. Next year, Touch and Eternity is going to be in June in Orlando. It won't be in New Orleans. It's going to be in Orlando. We got a great deal for rooms and stuff there. So Touch and Eternity. We'll be bringing Sonia Rinaldi back. I'll be bringing Scott Milligan back. Dominic Bogue is coming back. I'll be there, and I think we're going to have one more person. I don't know who that's going to be yet, so we still have to get with them and contract who that's going to be. It might be Josephine. It may be someone else. I don't know.
Sonia, she's like one of those. What do you call it?
She does ITC.
Yeah,
right?
the ITC. Yep, that's
So
it.
Sonia is going to be responsible. With Sonia's work is so phenomenal. There's not going to be a need for a medium by 2050. You're going to be able to call your dead people up on your cell phone and have a conversation.
Probably so.
Oh, it's already almost there. I mean,
You got the apps already that can,
the only way that's not going to happen is if the government gets involved and takes it down, because they're already getting phone calls by voice, and we're already getting pictures from the other side to us. So those are already happening. They're just not happening simultaneous. So if we can get it to happen simultaneously, then oh yeah. Oh, and people you're probably going, that's not, it is happening, folks. I have seen it. I travel to see these things. I am on the road looking at these things.
Wow.
I don't expect people to believe it until they see it, but I'm telling you, it's coming.
And you know what? It was so nice to meet you. The first time I got to meet you in person here, and I really appreciate you being on the show. I really like the serial killer story, of course, and to find out more about it. Thank you. So if you haven't already subscribed, please go and it's free. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, share, all the above. You know what to do. Thank you again, Sid. Thank you, Brandon, my producer, director. We're here at Moxie Studios. And that's about it. Do you have any words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share with us?
Just always know, work from your heart. Keep your heart, as long as your heart is open, the world is at your fingertips. That's my famous quote.
I like it. On that note, everybody have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
See y'all later.